another random video today. And I decided I would do my top 10 favorite Gabe's World FNAF plush episodes. And of course there would be a top 10 on my channel because it just makes sense. So let's just get started immediately in the time that we have because of school. Alright, so we have worst. So there's our 10 episodes each on worst to best. And also, guys, this is just my silly personal opinion. Like always, like a lot of people said this, but this is my silly personal opinion. And we have all opinions, so don't go randomly in the comments like, just don't. Like, it's our own opinion, so we have so it doesn't really matter. Alright, but anyway, on the number 10 worst spot is the diet. This is a more recent episode, and to my explanation, it's bad. So basically what the story is Toy Freddy, the gamer, saw cosmic brownies for the first time, and overnight he's been eating things while gaming, like everyone does. And Nightmare Bonnie and Golden Freddy see him like fat. That's why he's fat. So they try to get him exercise so he won't be that fat. And can I just go right off the bat? This episode is so mean-spirited. Like what the fuck? But seriously, everyone is so mean-spirited in this episode. Even Toy Freddy himself, the gamer boy, is mean-spirited. Okay, I can totally understand that Nightmare Bonnie and Golden Freddy would be mean-spirited in this episode because but I know they're trying to get him exercise, but people have lifestyles. You can't just go from a normal life like a lot of people. You know that, Nightmare Bonnie. And you do too, Golden Freddy. But still, it's just a really bad episode overall. The writing wasn't really good. Because we've seen this kind of stuff before. With, like, I can't think of something on top of my mind, but I know I've seen this before on a different show, but I just can't put my head on it. But yeah, a really recycled idea. And a very mean-spirited episode, and just a very bad episode overall because the writing wasn't really good. So that was the diet. The number 10 best is Nightmare Bonnie's Prime. Oh boy, where would I even begin with this episode? This episode is also another really recent one in Season 7. And it might be probably one of the greatest episodes of Season 7 I've ever saw. I mean, there are also another episode that is really good was the circus tent. That episode was really good, but it wasn't as good as Nightmare Bonnie's Prime because it really is. I get it's really similar to the Sugar Monster and the Gummy Monster. But at least instead of him go very crazy and just trying to attack all over to everyone, he just goes crazy with energy. And it's really it has a well-written story. The characters are really funny. Nightmare Bonnie is a really funny character in this episode. Because I think that's the whole point of the episode. He's like addicted to Prime or something. Yeah, but he's a really good character overall in the episode. Springtrap. He's just born ass. But anyway, I also like that guy where he was trying to build their house, their roof, that was naked. Someone please explain me, how did that man survive? I feel like that was the man that was, in Nightmare Bonnie's Missing Candy. That was like the first trick-or-treater place that Nightmare Bonnie was visited to. I think that was the same guy or whatever. He might be. I have no No idea. But it probably is. And it's a really fun throwback to 2019. Probably one of the best seasons of this series. Season 3. Probably one of my favorite and probably the best season. But anyway, this was just a really good episode all by itself. The number 9 worst is Spice. Now, let me just get this straight. This episode is trash. I say trash because it is so boring. Like I'm telling you, this is just a boring concept in a boring episode. Like, something, like, I can't say it, but Golden Freddy and Nightmare Bonnie having a war, like almost like a war, but like a fight about spicy foods. We did this before in season 2 with Nightmare Freddy and Foxy, so we don't really need to do it again. I mean, that was just a perfect episode all by itself. All by itself, why would you make a sequel? Okay, to be honest, probably some of the episodes on this list are probably sequels. Probably. But still, this episode is such a piece of crap. Now, we got the number 9 best, which is another kind of recent one from season 6. Why did I say 5? Gingerbread House. This is an episode with Frostbear, aka Butters. Just Frostbear. This is an episode about Nightmare Bonnie, Springtrap, Frostbear, Golden Freddy, Toy Freddy, and Toy Bonnie building a gingerbread house. You might say it sounds like a boring idea, but I'm telling you, it's a really good episode. It's like if SpongeBob made a whole episode of playing a board game. Of like a board game. I wish they would actually do that. That might be a cool idea. They can use Eeyores and Escalators. They can use that video game. It's like that episode. Potty Mouth. Saber Mouth. It's like that part where they played the board game. That's how the exact same thing, how the episode is like, is something that you normally do at that time with FNAF characters, and I think it's just a really good idea for it. And going on to the characters, Nightmare Bonnie is probably one of the most funniest characters in the entire episode. He had really funny jokes about how the man and the woman were alive, which again is really funny after all if you think about it. If you actually think about it, they might actually be alive. But who cares about that? Frostbear, I thought he was going to have like a big role in the episode because it is Christmas. But he didn't really have a big role in the episode. His character was meh, to say the least. Springtrap, nothing to say. He's just a boring old Springtrap that we ever seen since season 1. Season 2. Since season 2. But yeah, it's a really good episode after all. And also, Toy Bonnie is probably a really funny character too. Also, this episode also has really good writing because it's really similar to, like I said, Eels and Escalators part in Saber Mouth SpongeBob episode. Now, going back into the worst episodes, we got the number 8 spot, which is the Gummy Monster. Ugh. Yeah, this episode is bad. And let me tell you this. I really love the Sugar Monster. And that might be spoilers about the best list, but who cares? I really love it. I just like to do it. Number 2, part 2 was bad, but not that bad. It was bad, but it was still bad to be bad. Yeah. But the Gummy Monster, which is kind of like a trequel, or you could say final one of the trilogy. It's just so crappily awful. To the point, I feel like this might be just a slap in the face to Sugar Monster. Like, just slap in the face bad. Like, if you took the episode Sugar Monster and then mixed a couple chunks of the episode 2, and then have gummy candy, a lot of it, like all of it, smushed in there, and you make it, and you throw it in the garbage can, and then fix it, and it comes out with even more crap. That's how bad this episode is. That's how bad this episode is. The characters are not even, is so much worse. It's like watching a bad movie. Yeah. But yeah, that's really what it is. Just a bad sequel to a bad sequel. A bad sequel to a bad sequel. Very funny word. But getting back into the best episodes, on the number 8 spot of the best episodes, we have... Okay. What if we had time to talk about how wonderful Game Night is an episode? How wonderful is it? So the story about this episode is Nightmare Bonnie invites Molten Freddy, Toy Bonnie, and Golden Freddy to have a game night. And they played, what was the board games? Pictionary, Connect 4, Hungry Hungry Hippos, Headbands, and the Shark Game, aka Shark Bite. That very rigged game that just gets you out of no reason. But this episode is really clever, and so many jokes are just so funny. This episode is also really funny, especially with scenes with Molten Freddy. Like, scenes with Molten Freddy probably just saved this episode from being bad. But also, probably everything saved this episode to be bad. Because I was expecting this episode would be terrible, because probably how bad that, what was an episode before that? Season 4 was. I thought this episode was going to be bad because most of season 4 was pretty bad because it was near the 2020 year, COVID-19. But this episode really saved season 4 for me. Really saved it. Because it's such a wonderful episode. Nightmare Bonnie's character, I mean, he's angry. But he's not that angry to the point he was funny. But he was still funny, though. Especially he roasted Toy Bonnie. That was a wonderful scene. Then we had, Molten Freddy. Which is probably the best character out of the whole 4. Probably out of the whole 4 in this episode. Because he's a really funny guy. He always does my jokes like, it's really funny. I tell you that. Toy Bonnie, he was alright. He was alright. I mean, he was raging. Not as raging as Molten Freddy to the point he was funny. Like I said with, Toy Bonnie. But he was still funny and a good character after all. And Golden Freddy is probably the worst one. Because he wasn't that funny. He wasn't that funny. That's why this episode's on the number 1 spot. Or even other spots. Because Golden Freddy really kind of ruined the episode. Because he was really boring and didn't even care for anything in the episode, basically, I could say. But yeah, Game Night's a really good episode after all. But going back into the worst list, on the number 7 spot, we got The Wish. Now, let me get this straight. This is a birthday episode. Yes, it is a birthday episode. But it is not as good as Nightmare Bonnie's birthday party. That's the problem. Because Freddy in this episode is so bland and boring to the point I really wanted this episode to end at the 2-minute mark. And what was it, probably 8 minutes. It was 8 minutes. And I hate that. Nightmare Bonnie's an idiot, even though that's how his character is, but he's still an idiot. Like how he was in Gummy Monster too. And Golden Freddy? Terrible. Turn me on, Newman. But terrible. Probably a pretty terrible episode after all. But still a really bad episode. Going back to the number 7th of the best list is of course the Sugar Monster. This is the most popular episode of all time. And not even with 100 million views on the episode, without 100 million views on it, it was still the most popular. And I can't believe that this episode was really dang clever. So it starts where in the house, like probably almost every episode takes place in the house. Almost every episode. That's a conspiracy theory, I'll tell you that. But like I was saying, Nightmare Bonnie wanted some junk food. Because Springtrap was eating junk food while he was eating some Doritos while he was reading his book. God, I can't speak today. So yeah, you can probably tell this episode is good after all. Also, this has a really good concept that has never been done before when it first came out. And I'm really glad how this kind of mixed with how kind of with real life. If you eat too much sugar, you get crazy, and you'll get a sugar rush until you die. Okay, the dying thing is not true, but maybe it is. I'll Google it later. But it has a lot of relatable things that you could probably see in your parents' house, or even your entire life. That's what makes this episode really good, because it has a lot of relatability. It's kind of like SpongeBob episodes. Like, you could see even though these are things you can't relate to, you can still feel yourselves in your shoes. And that's not actually true. Even some of the modern seasons, like seasons 5 through 7, had some relatable crap. It's really cool how this can relate. And also, the characters are really clever. It has really clever jokes. Okay, that is it for the Sugar Monster. It's a really good episode, but not as good as being the number 1 spot, though. But still, a very good episode overall. 7 out of 10. Get it? Because it's number 7? God, that was such a funny joke. Going back into... the bad list. We got number 6, which is kind of an older one, back in 2018. So I guess season 2. Is Foxy's Chores. What can I say about this episode? It's trash. So basically what this episode's about is Foxy has been forced to do chores by Freddy Fuckbear. Freddy Fazbear. And the gang. So basically, this episode is very boring. I mean, from the title, you can probably tell it's boring. Also because everyone is so mean-spirited. What can I say about this episode? This is not a clever episode. I get it. This is from season 2. But still, they should have done something better. Probably, they should have done something like Like kind of similar to like the park episode, where the toys and the toy animatronics go to the park, or like in the music park or amusement park or whatever. Like they should have did something like that and kind of make it fun, like kind of like a boring thing, do it fun. But they didn't do it in this episode, sadly, which kind of makes me sad because how good the park was. It wasn't able to go on the best list, but it was still a good episode, by the way. But a very mean-spirited episode with Foxy's chores. Now going back to to heaven, aka the best list, we got number 6, The Last Donut. This is an episode truly makes detective episodes that are from different TV shows that I don't even like actually good. Yes, I said it. This episode is probably one of the most greatest episodes that has to do with a donut. Also, along with the donut of shame from SpongeBob. Again, a really good episode. And Bonnie as a detective has never been done before, and I'm really happy. There's also an original idea. Games what has never been done before. It makes me kind of happy. Like I said, and it is a really funny episode overall, to say the least. Also a really good episode. Nightmare Bonnie is probably the best character because he's of course the detective. Springtrap doesn't really do anything in the episode to be deserved, like tied up in the episode, but still, he was still really funny. I forgot the other characters that were in the episode, but they were still also really funny and very clever. And this episode really makes detective episodes really good, and it really has a really good story to it. And Also, it's a really good episode. I just love okay, how many times I said good in this video? Comment down below in the comments how many times I said good and bad. Or, like, any word that is for good. Or just say good overall. How many times I said good. And now going back to the bad list, we got episode 5. Okay. What if we had one day without talking about probably the worst episode of season 2? And that is The Bad Day. More like The Long Haul. Yes, I said it. It's more like The Long Haul from the Diary of a Wimpy Kid trash movie. Ah! But this is just a really bad episode. And you can probably tell why it says bad. Because you already know it's going to be a bad episode, to say the least. Also because that Nightmare Bonnie's an idiot for absolutely no reason. Kind of saying like how these people say SpongeBob sucks. For season 6 through 8. How Patrick was so mean-spirited and very, very dumb. And that's how Nightmare Bonnie is in this episode. Patrick from season 6 through 8. That's how he is. If you're one of those SpongeBob fans that hate season 6 through 8, but I'm not one of those people. Then Springtrap gets probably the most torture in the series. And I hope there's going to be a part 2, because I actually want to know what happened to him when he was in jail. But I think he was just in jail for only just a day. Also, there was an episode called Nightmare Bonnie Goes to Jail, but at least that episode had a lot more creativity to it than just a bad day from Springtrap. Or you could, and just like the SpongeBob Squidward torture episodes, you could say this is a Springtrap. I spit all over my camera. God, this is a Springtrap torture episode. Instead of Squidward, it's Springtrap. But that's what basically this episode is. A Springtrap torture episode. Like how you say Squidward torture episode if you're one of those people again. Now going back to heaven, I mean the good list, the best list. Number 5 is the treasure map. Ooh, this episode. Am I zoomed in? Oh, I wasn't zoomed into my camera. I was zoomed into my camera. I was just wondering, guys. But anyway, this is such a wonderful episode, to say the least. I have no idea why, but I just love pirate episodes. Like, every time I see a pirate episode, I always knew it's gonna be good from the start. From start to finish. This is probably one of the best fnaf plush pirate episodes of all time. And yes, it's even better than Travis Plush Productions episode where all the Foxies go on a treasure hunt. Yes, I said it. It's better than that episode. But I really don't care. Because this episode is a lot better. Even though I still like Travis's episode, this episode is still a really good episode for pirates in general. So, basically what this episode's about is Toy Freddy and Winter Bonnie go on a pirate adventure. Also, this is another episode that really saved season 4, just like how Game Night did. But it was still a really bad season, but it still had these two great episodes. Now going back to hell, I mean, I don't know why I keep saying that, but the bad list, we got number 4. Nightmare Bodies Happy Meal. Can we just say all off the bat that this is a direct parody of Jeffy? Yes, I said it. I mean, yes, the older seasons, aka season 2, when Nightmare Bonnie was introduced, it was kind of a parody of Jeffy, but at least the episodes were good. I've seen Jeffy before, but I don't watch it anymore because it's such a bad series. I don't watch it anymore. It's a really bad series. But basically, this episode is a direct parody of Jeffy, like I said. Just like how the original season 2 episodes were. But at least they were good. But this episode is straight up trash. And this is really just 8 minutes or even 10 minutes of my time wasted of an episode I don't even care about. I mean, yes, it is about McDonald's. Yes, it is original. But one thing that is not original about this episode is the tantrums. How many times? Okay. Also, anyone that is watching this video, go watch the episode and count how many times that Nightmare Bonnie cries in the episode. Nightmare Bonnie cries in this episode. And then comment it in this video, because Nightmare Bonnie is such a tantrum crybaby in this episode. To not to be mean, but he's such a crybaby in this entire episode. And you could probably know what the story is from the title. Nightmare Bonnie gets a Happy Meal and gets a tantrum. That's it. God, such a terrible episode from a good season. Now going back to heaven, I mean, the good list. We have the number 4 spot is the Doctor. This is like the episode before like Nightmare Bonnie's Happy Meal, and I'm really glad that this episode was as bad as that. But at least this came on before that one. But it's still a really bad episode and a good episode. I really like this episode. I really do, and it's a really good concept. Like, okay, here's the story about this episode. So, the Balloon Boy tries to get some food, and he wants to cut a banana into pieces for some odd reason, until he cuts his finger. What the heck is that? I also put pen on my finger by accident. He cuts his finger, and then Toy Trika with him runs to the doctor as fast as she can, and then she tries to help. And then the doctor tries to help Balloon Boy get his finger done or whatever. Oh yeah, also, I remember a cousin almost chopped her whole finger half off. Yes, that actually happened. And this actually kind of relates to that, and I really like this episode, to be honest. It's just a really good episode, and also relatability, and also a relatable episode, just like how, even just like how the Sugar Monster was. Like, I can feel Balloon Boy's position, even though I haven't been in position. But at least this has relatability, like cutting your finger, and that really hurts, going to the doctor, or people ripping you off, or people messing you around. Just little things like that in this episode makes a really good episode. Just like how Rock Bottom was. Like, people stealing stuff. It also has relatable things, like stealing stuff, people cutting a line, and people ripping you off. Just like things like that, just like in SpongeBob episodes, just like this episode, makes this episode good. Even though I haven't been in this position anymore, I can still feel like Balloon Boy's shoes. It's just a really relatable episode, to say the least, and a very good episode about the Doctor. Also, doctors suck, by the way. Now, going back to the 1800s, I mean the worst list, we got number 3, the Chocolate Factory. I might get hate for this. I'm just gonna say it. My least favorite movie is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I said it. Yes, I said it. I hate Willy Wonka. I hate it so much to the point I really get nightmares. I get nightmares. Because it's true. It's such a bad movie. I have like a hate passion about this movie. I might do a review on it at some point, and you know how it's gonna go. But this episode just makes the movie even worse. And you can probably tell what the story's about in this episode. You know, 5 people find the golden ticket, goes to the candy factory. Person jumps into factory chocolate. A person turns into a bloom. But that doesn't really happen. Instead, they're cloned. But whatever, it's still the same thing. Someone gets attacked by squirrels. Someone gets stricken out, and then someone gets win, and then they win a prize. That's how this episode is. Not even kidding. It's such a very rushed episode. And like I said, rushed things could be good. Like very things that are rushed. Like for example, Onyx Kid's Ketchup Mustard episode. That was really good. Even though it was rushed. Yeah. But this is just horrible rushing. This episode is just so terrible. Moving on. Now going to the episode 3. We got we got Edward. What? Okay, Edward. What did I say? Edward. I don't know. We got Edward. Edward goes to the movies. This is kind of a great episode, to say the least. So, Edward and Exotic Butters see a trailer on TV for a horror movie called The Creepy Doll. I think that's what it was called, right? Yeah, I think I'm right. Correct in the comments if I'm wrong. But anyway, so he brings the whole sister location gang going to the movies to see, well, the creepy doll. It also really reminds me of that FNAF plush Travis Scott Productions episode where the main characters see a movie about them, which was FNAF Freddy in Space 57, I think it was called, and Foxy had boobs. It's really funny, to say the least. Funniness. But this episode is actually really better than that. I mean, yeah, the Travis Production episode was good, but it wasn't that good as this. This was just probably almost a masterpiece. It's not as masterpiece as the number 1 spot, but still a really good masterpiece. Also, this episode is really clever about their trailers. Like Tennis the movie? Oh, I like to see that. Like, it's a movie about people playing tennis. It's like people watching tennis on TV. That's basically what it is. And this episode is just really clever and and it has very good writing for the story. And I say it's a pretty good episode. Go watch it. Now on the number 2 spot of the worst list. Okay, that's the last time I'm gonna do that. Is the Easter monster. This is another episode from season 4. Probably one of the worst seasons of FNAF Plush from Gabe's World. And I'm just gonna say this. All of the Easter episodes are trash. And this might be the worst one. I mean, they're all bad. But I would say the Easter monster, aka the one from 2020, is probably the worst one. To say the least. This episode has a very bad writing, to say the least, for the story. The characters are so... This is also another episode where characters are very mean-spirited. And again, it's also like the diet, where everyone is so mean-spirited to the point I just want the episode to end. And that's what this episode is. A bland Easter episode that has no fun at 10, no characterships, or whatever. No good story, trash writing, and a very bad characters. And very mean-spirited characters. Before I go on to the number 1s, I want to get some honorable mentions. So, honorable mention for the good one, for the good list, is the Potty Mouth episode. This is another parody of SpongeBob. And of course, like Saber Mouth, it's a masterpiece, to say the least. Then I actually have 2 dishonorable mentions. It's the episode Fetch, and then there goes the Disneyland. I didn't say land there, but still. Disney and Disneyland are the exact same thing. These episodes are bad or either good, but these episodes are so terrible. And the number 1 worst episode of the entire show is Nightmare Bonnie's Fear. Where would I even begin? With this episode? This is the worst episode of the entire show. And of course it would be in season 4, because that's probably like the worst season of the entire show. But it's even worse than the entire season. It's worse than the entire season. Yeah, I said it. This episode is worse than the actual season itself. And it makes me so angry. The story is so bland. The characters are so mean-spirited and so trash. like all of these episodes. It's like all of these episodes combined into one giant thing, which is this episode. And the fear about bananas, that doesn't even make any sense. Okay, I had enough about the bad episodes. Get out of here. And the number one best FNAF Plush Games World episode is Nightmare Bonnie's Missing Candy. Now, I mentioned this episode a bit earlier, but I just have to say it. This episode is the best episode of the entire show. Yes, I said it. This episode is a masterpiece. Remember how I said that? Oh, it's upside down. This episode was a masterpiece? This one with Edward? Well, not anymore. Because this is the masterpiece. This is the most greatest episode I have ever seen from a TV show that is on YouTube. Probably one of the best YouTube videos I've ever seen, and the best episode of the entire show. The characters are not mean-spirited, but very funny and clever. The story is the story is very great. The animation is so good to the point I can't even breathe. And this episode is so good after all. To you, it might seem like a very bland Halloween special, but to me, it's a Halloween episode that I'll keep myself in mind, and a wonderful masterpiece. And yeah, that is the top 10 worst and best Games World episodes. If you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like. And if you like this video, give it a like. If you don't want to subscribe or like, that's totally fine. Just sit back and enjoy the videos. And I'll see you guys next time.